Welcome back to our Value Bite series. And today we are going to chat with our friend Neil, and we're very excited to chat about values and really diving into the concept of values and what matters to business owners. But first, Neil, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you help businesses, and really how you come alongside and help business owners.
Sure. Well, Randy, Heather, thank you guys both for having me on. I'm super excited to talk to you guys and your audience. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in human resources for over 25 years, helping small, medium, large global companies. And fractionally, I've been doing it for quite some time, but about 3 years ago, decided to go in full time, offering fractional HR to small to medium sized companies and scaling industries across the United States. And what we do is we come in and we assess and evaluate companies of their HR infrastructure, and then we take that burden off those leaders. Those leaders did not come to create an organization and a business to grow and develop, to spend 20, 30, 50% of their time dealing with a benefits program, or how to hire a good leader, or how to administer an I-9. Things like that. I always tell my leaders, look, you go back to doing what you started this for, which is growth, development, market share, people engagement, customer engagement, and let us take care of all those things you really don't want to do. We got you. We're really good at it, and we'll take care of you.
That's such a great description of what you do, because I think sometimes, when we think of HR, you forget that HR can take a lot of the weight off of the owner and can really let them get back to those things that they're passionate and best at. So I love that description of your business. So, in our process, when we work with business owners, we dive into what they value most about their business. Typically, we find that these are like the emotional attachments that they have to their people, the impact that they can have on others, their processes, the way they go about doing business, or it might be profit, right? What they can do with the money that they make in their business. And so I'm sure that identifying these things and being really honest about those values is super important to your processes, because you are like touching the heart and soul of the business so closely. So how do you talk to owners about their values and what they value most about their business?
Heather, great question. Thank you. I think the challenge is really getting owners to think from the value mindset and getting them to uncover what are their values. Do they have values? And it's not that they don't have values, but generally when you're talking to these founders and owners, they're developing, they're growing, they're so focused in their business, they forget to pause and say, what are my values? What's important to me? Now, there are things that if you look and assess and you watch long enough, you can easily pick up on what their values are and how they respond to emails, how they engage with their teams when they come in, when there's a struggling moment or a challenge. The challenge we want to do is really dig in and understand what's important to these owners. What are they trying to get to? What's their goals and objectives? And then what's getting in their way? And one of the things we like to challenge them on is, I like to say, we sometimes in that mirror they don't want to look in. And we want to present what we see and observe, and then we help them pivot from where they are to where they want to go. And that's been the important thing, is as we uncover what's important to them, how do we help them achieve that and align that with the business? That's pretty challenging. As I kind of alluded to, I'm not sure a lot of owners actually truly, if you asked a quiz today, how many of you actually have your values written down for your company? I'm going to guess it's less than 10%. And it's just one of those things they haven't really been focused on. And as an HR practitioner, we have to understand what's important to them. But we also have to help them see their blind spots. And one of the things with values is they have blind spots, whether it's a person, whether it's a process, whether it's a product line, whether it's a customer. They have blind spots, and our job is to help them see them and make them aware and make challenging and tough decisions related to them.
I really appreciate what you said about having a value mindset, and just the idea of that your values show up everywhere, down to your email. It's there in the essence of it. And so really leaning in and working with owners to identify first, what are their values, but then kind of what I hear is that you find that it's important to come alongside them and really teach them, remind them to have that value mindset, because it's a way to bridge the gap, a way to identify the gaps, and ultimately get to that final destination by making sure that you're really staying true to those. And in our world, we really see it as protecting what you value, right? So we see in our world, marketing, we really see that you can use marketing as a change agent, but also to protect what you value. But when I think about values and think about the space that you're in, Neil, and what you do, it makes me wonder, how do you feel like in your experience that business owners can take what they value within their business and really utilize that to increase their financial value, or just in general, make their business better?
Great question. So, here's what it comes down to, Randy. Whatever your values are, align to those values, audit and assess and evaluate to ensure those truly are your values. And that's the segment you want. But just like anything else we do in business, then you develop strategies for the business related to the values. So an example, one of my great values is I can't be late. It drives me nuts. I think when you are late to a call or a meeting, or you commit to something, you should be there. And that's an important value to me, is timeliness. It's something my dad taught me very early on. So for me, how do I integrate that into my business to help me grow and scale my business? And people are like, you can't. Sure you can, because it's one of my key principles to my clients. We will continue to be there on time to support you every day, day in and day out. And here's the mechanisms and systems we put in place to ensure timeliness is important to us as an organization, but to you. So you can build strategies. You can actually market to those specific strategies because those values are important to you and other people resonate with those same values. It's interesting when you truly market a value, how many people resonate with that same value, and that will help you continue to scale and grow your business by finding those like-minded individuals that are aligned with those values.
I love that. And as someone who had it drilled into me very early on that timeliness and respecting other people's time is so important, I can definitely relate to you on that value. So that's a great example of a value that really helps the business be healthier, helps the business to align, with the ideal clients. But where are some places that you've seen owners get in their own way because of maybe not so much their values, but their emotional attachments to things within the business, or things that are really important to them that maybe they need to let go of a little bit?
We don't have enough time to go through all those, but I'll just pick one out there for you because there's a fair number. I think the biggest one I see generally from a people perspective is they have an individual that joins the organization early on, maybe employee 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Generally, it's one of those early employees. And as the business has continued to scale and grow and develop, candidly, that employee's skills and competencies might not have grown at the same rate the company has. And at some point, you have to recognize that employee might not be a fit in their current role, or candidly might not be a fit within the organization at all. And for a leader to make that difficult decision is very, very challenging because we care. We know the amount of energy, passion, dedication, hours that person put in those first 2, 3, 4 years that are just the grind years. And you put everything into the ability to objectively evaluate people and evaluate what level they are. And are they at the level to grow and develop to the next level to support your organization? It's one of the hardest things I've seen for leaders is because we care. And that's a good thing to care, but it's a challenge when it comes to the business. And it's actually, in many times, holding businesses back because you don't have the right person in the right role. And that's a real challenge for leaders, for all of us. We have a caring heart, but there's ways to work through it. And that's really where I think HR is a good partner to develop plans and strategies and understand how do we find a role that fits their competencies, skills, and passion, but to open that other role up for the right person to help your business grow.
I think that's so true, that there's just the emotional side of it can't be avoided. It can't be ignored as much as we want to try. And as much as I think sometimes the owners we work with, it's kind of that it's all business mentality, but the reality is that emotions are tied up into it, even their own. So what are some ways that you've found that owners can balance their emotions with reaching their goals, with working towards that growth. What's the advice that you give to your clients when you kind of see that bumping up against?
Sure. Two things I give them. One, trust your leadership team. And what I mean by that is encourage. I, at points in time, challenge my leadership team to challenge me. If you have a great leadership team you've selected and built, and they've scaled and grown with you, your team should feel comfortable challenging your decisions and helping you see things from a different perspective. Ironically, I had a 30-minute call with one of my managing consultants today that I was stuck in an opinion, and she pushed me for 30 minutes. And candidly, she changed my mind because I was being a bit hard-headed about a topic. And in that 30-minute conversation, she was able to go, get over yourself. She didn't say that, but it was well implied. And the reality is she was spot on. But here's the thing. I value that in my team. I value the ability for my team to push back and go, you're wrong. Maybe not that direct, maybe so. But those are the conversations. An individual can't do it all themselves and can't have every right answer and every opinion. So one, I would say, trust your leadership team. Two, have a great executive coach or HR partner to be a good sounding board, because one of the things is at the top, it's exceptionally lonely.
Mm.
You're not going to banter with your Cs or your VPs. You can to a point, but you're still the leader. So who do you talk to? Find fellow CEOs or other senior leaders to partner with, but equally get a great executive coach that really can be that trusted confidant. You can share anything with them. And again, they will help you in your journey. They'll push you in your journey, but they're going to help you achieve your goals and objectives. HR or an executive coach can do that. And if they're really good at both of them, you'll get somebody that can do both for you.
That's such great advice. I know that we resonate with that as well. I think sometimes owners were like, get out of your own way. And one of the ways to do that is trusting your team. And if you don't have the right people in the seat and you're not able to trust them, then that's absolutely a separate thing to address, right? And I think probably we know a guy that could help them address that. But even in the marketing world, we find that all the time, that if they're not listening to their team as owners, they're really getting too much in the weeds on marketing and not staying high level, not staying focused on the things that they need to focus on as the owner. And part of that really can stem from them not trusting their team and not creating that culture where the leadership team is empowered. And there's so much opportunity when you can really lean in and be that owner that is empowering your leadership team. And I think that your example, Neil, really speaks to that and kind of goes beyond just your traditional HR and really highlights how it's dipping into culture even.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Neil, this has been just such great information, things that owners really need to be thinking about that, like you said, they probably aren't spending enough time really diving into and making it a priority to connect with those values and make them a really core, integral part of their business. So where can people who are listening and saying, that's something I need to spend some more time on, or maybe they're saying, I need to get those right people in the right seats, or I don't want to deal with shopping around for group insurance. Where can they find you, connect with you, and learn more about how you can help them?
Sure. Great. Two places, the easiest two, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every single day, multiple times a day. I love that. It's a great way to learn about people and businesses. So LinkedIn's the first place. Second is they're welcome to visit me on my website, exceptionalhrsolutions.com. Super easy. Send me an inquiry, schedule a meeting, whatever you'd like. We're here to help. We want you to be successful. We want you to take a good partner on your journey.
Thank you so much, Neil, for your time today.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.